Hello there, Sagittarius. I hope you are doing well. So welcome to your May 2017 spiritual advice reading. I've explained to the other signs why I do these readings, and I feel like it's just good to do for we're halfway through the year, okay? And this is a playing card deck that I got. I've had it for quite some time. And let me see if it's called the Dragon Age Inquisition. So I feel like you might like this deck. So I'm not reading the actual, cards. I'm reading the pictures, okay? And I use this to complement the traditional tarot readings. So this is the card that really concerned me because I feel like the message based on the tarot basically indicates that you cannot help other people until you help yourself first. And when you are suffering from, physical like symptoms, physical ailments, when you are suffering spiritually and emotionally, you're not in the best position to help other people. Okay, so you need to focus on yourself. You need to take care of yourself first before you can take care of other people. So that was the message overall in the tarot portion. But this is something that runs a little bit deeper. And let me just talk about, the picture. This is somebody that's very hurt, right? And you can tell that the mouth is covered up. So on the one hand, I feel like you have dealt with a lot of pain. And I feel that it could be physical in terms of, swords. It could be something like emotional in terms of feeling betrayed. It could also be like dealing with a lot of disappointment where things did not go our way. But either way, there's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of pain in this card. And the fact that the mouth is covered up basically means that you have never talked about these pains to other people. You were very alone going through it. You might have also experienced it at a very young age when you couldn't make sense of it. There might have been fear for retaliation for whatever reason. So you never told anybody about it. So I'm seeing, honestly, there's a lot of things here that screams to me abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual, whatever the situation is. And I feel that you've lived with, you've lived with the pain for quite some time, to the point where it becomes like the new normal, right? And so this next card that's coming through basically indicates to me like trapped energy, okay? So this is sort of like we're trying to live our lives based on the constraints, some physical, some external constraints. And if you see this person is kind of like behind that fence or in front of the fence, but it's almost like trapped energy. Energy needs to go somewhere. So if there has been a lot of trauma, it needs to be talked about. It needs to be resolved. It needs to be healed. Because that energy, when it's trapped within you, it can cause a lot of damage emotionally, even on a molecular level, because energy needs an escape. It needs an outlet. It needs to go somewhere. And so if you're keeping secrets, if you're keeping mum about things that have been very difficult to deal with, I feel like you need to find an outlet for that and try to do it soon, okay? As a fire sign, a lot of the times too, and you guys can let me know if this applies to you, okay? There are a lot of nightmares. If you've been keeping things in, a lot of nightmares, a lot of like... I'm sensing like, night terrors. I'm also sensing as well, you're very prone to fevers. You tend to, have a lot of fevers. But the good news is that, like, for example, if you have an inflammation, if you have like some type of, I guess like if you're about to get sick, right? And I feel like your body fevers over and then the next day you feel great again. So I feel like that's your body's defense mechanism, okay? I feel that you're being sheltered, you're being protected very strongly and in a very divine way. However, protection protects us from things that spiritual protection helps us from protects us from things that I feel, like once again, I mentioned this with Pisces, so. The message is this, okay? You're given the life that you're given because you're strong enough to live it. So I feel like in a way, spiritual protection protects you from things that they feel might not be, that you're not capable of handling at this present moment, on top of everything else that's happening in your life, right? And so spiritual protection is there on a need to, it's like on a specific cases, okay? And it's there to help you, but it's not something that you can fall back on, and it's not something that you can rely on and make reckless decisions, right? And so I feel like there's a lot of pain here, there's a lot of trauma, and it needs an outlet, because I feel that you might be prone to night terrors if these things are not reconciled. You might be prone to fevers if you've experienced that recently. Breaking out in highs, breaking out in fevers, breaking out, like having a lot of weird skin conditions happening to you as a result of keeping so many things in. So it's gonna, energy needs to find an outlet. Otherwise, it's going to manifest in physical symptoms. And the first sign of manifestation, I feel, is through the skin, okay? And so, having said that, let me just focus on the main message here through the tarot, excuse me. So going back, I feel night terror here. So let me just show you this card, and then I'll talk about the tarot, okay? So this is like night terror. This is like having a lot of restless energy pent up at night. So you're very prone to blisters, fever, inflammations, etc. So here's the thing. You have a really big heart, Sagittarius. You have a really big heart. And thankfully, you have a really, really happy-go-lucky attitude. And so you don't plan things out, like you do things like spur of the moment. And you do things in a very, I feel like you're guided by your moral compass to do the right thing and to be exactly where you need to be. Okay, so I feel like life for you is not all about planning. It's about, being spontaneous and taking opportunities when they come in, and doing so in a very lighthearted, happy-go-lucky manner. And because you're so optimistic, things always work out. Things always work out. And so I feel because of that, you overestimate your strength and you overestimate your capability sometimes. And so my advice here is we need to make sure, that physically that you're in best shape, mentally you're in best shape, so that you can help other people. Okay, so this is kind of like spiritual renewal, spiritual cleansing, emotional renewal, emotional cleansing. So a lot of healing needs to happen from your end. I feel some of you are dealing with some physical pains right now, and you need to get that taken care of. Okay, so you can't just, blindly say, oh, it's going to work out. It's just a temporary cramp here and there, or it's just a stomach ulcer. It's not going to, exacerbate into something chronic. And you might leave things unchecked. So take care of yourself. Do your body justice, okay? Get a checkup. See what's going on. And don't fear it, because, you need to know what you're dealing with so that you can have, the proper tools to tackle it. And at the same time, without like once you give something a name, it allows you to know how to manage it. Okay. So I feel like some of us might be in denial about some health issues. And then others of us are not, need to find an outlet for them. You need to find an outlet for them, okay? What I feel, though, is emotionally, they're saying here with this Page of Cups, and because this is a spiritual advice reading, all the cards are going to pertain to you and not other people, okay? So I'm not reading this as other people. So because of this card, this is it's the Princess of Cups, which is the Page of Cups. It's basically telling you that there's this emotional growth that needs to happen for you. And I feel it's really important for you to really examine your motives, really examine, what is your go-to gut instinct about a situation? How does the situation make you feel? Really examine your motives, really examine your feelings. Because I feel like a lot of the times, you're very go, 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 very directed with your energy, very enthusiastic. And on top of that, you're a fire sign. So I feel that a lot of the things that you do, it's kind of like rather than filtering it through your heart. It goes straight through, from your head to your hands. So that means, the hands indicate actions, right? So it goes straight through the head. It goes through. You don't really take time to plan. You don't really take time to, sit a moment and see like, what are some potential pitfalls? It just goes straight to your hands and you start acting. Okay. So I feel like there's a lot of action, but there needs to be a lot more reflection. And it's not a bad thing. I just feel that emotionally you need to get more in touch with your feelings, and you need to really understand, motives, objectives, like personal motives, personal objectives, okay? So until we know ourselves, until we really, really know ourselves, until we understand our entire motives, until we can really disseminate our, ulterior motives or even our objectives, it's going to create challenges in our relationship. So until you really know yourself well, the relationship sector, you might encounter people who are also very lost, where you're seeing each other through a mirror. You're like this, so you attract people who are also like that. So if you lack self-awareness, Sagittarius, I feel that you're going to also attract people who are themselves lacking in self-awareness. They might behave in a way that, that portrays them a specific way. But if they're lacking in that self-awareness, their actions and their words don't really match up, okay? So I feel like if you've been having trouble in that regards, I feel that it's a moment, take a moment to really get to know yourself, get to know your motives, and especially give voice, give an outlet to these repressed pains, repressed angers. Just release them, okay? I do wish you all the best, and take care of yourself, okay? I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.